This evening for our invocation, I was reminded this afternoon of a fateful day 18 years ago, and Matt Dalton asked if he could give the invocation. Matt, if you'd come up.
Thank you. Would you guys please bow your heads? Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you be with us tonight, be with this council, give them the strength and courage and wisdom to take care of our employees, but for most part, take care of our citizens of our town. Guide them in the decisions they need to make. We also ask you, Lord, that you take care of our loved ones that are serving and not with their families and taking care of everything. We ask that you watch over them and keep them safe. In your name, amen.
Years ago today, Matt's brother made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. I remember talking to Matt that year, or after that, and Matt showed a lot of strength that day. And Matt, I'm sorry for your loss. I know the wounds heal slowly. Thank you and your family for the sacrifice they made for our country. Call to order the Mooresville Town Council meeting, November 15th. Gentlemen have had a chance to read the minutes. There were some changes that were caught after the fact, and it was with, in the sections where it talks about the town attorney, rather than Lee, it would be Starnes. Jewel did not want to participate that night for some unknown reason.
Keeping you guys healthy.
Keeping us healthy. I need a motion to either approve or amend the minutes as corrected.
Motion to approve as corrected.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, I did jump ahead there, and I apologize. Jeff Gregg, 5-0. We also have the minutes from our executive session prior to our regular meeting. Gentlemen have had a chance to read those. They do have the correct attorney's name on them. I need a motion to either approve or amend them.
Motion to approve.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
At our last meeting, we had two sets of salary ordinances in front of us. The salary ordinances were, in no particular order, a salary ordinance that showed as advertised, and then also a amended salary ordinance that showed an across-the-board raise. The conversation that evening was we needed to do something as far as retention. We had officers leaving, a division between level of value within our departments. But the main thing was we all knew that we wanted to, in some way, try to take care of our employees. First motion was to approve as advertised. It had a first and a second, a motion made and a second, but failed 2-3. The next motion was to table the salary ordinance and bring it back with maybe something a little different, maybe something that showed our employees that we do care and that we do want to help. We do want to reward them to stay. We want to do everything that we can. Again, I waited, and the budget fairy didn't show up. So started working with the numbers, and one of the things that was brought to my attention by several employees and a couple of department heads was, yeah, it is important to retain them, but it's also an opportunity to give our employees a goal that, hey, look what we can do for you in the long term. I had a citizen come in and say, you know, retention is probably the biggest problem throughout the United States. I did promise that citizen that I was working on something to try to come up with something fair and something that was long-term sustainable. In front of you, we have two salary ordinances. The salary ordinance are, the first one, as advertised. I did ask and receive permission. It is advertised per the department head's wish list, except for Diana's salary, which was reduced $1. The reason I did that is if that as advertised is as important to this council, or that important to the council, we can vote on it again. It is not the one that was turned down. It has been amended. The second one is the $2,500 across the board raise. A brief history. Back in 1996, a referendum was put before the citizens of Mooresville. Do you want to abolish the marshal system and create a metropolitan police commission? Had nothing to do with a bad marshal. Had to do with the way a town joined the 1977 Police and Fire Retirement Fund. It was an overwhelming vote. It was presented, do you think that the police and fire deserve a good pension? And it was an overwhelming vote to abolish the marshal system. The seated council at that time did away with longevity. They said, you know, we have a huge investment in buying back the time. At that time, a police officer or firefighter could retire at the age of 55 as long as they had 20 years service. So anyone over 35 years old that was employed at the time of being 35, that time got bought back by the taxpayers of the town of Mooresville. The longevity plan that was in place was put on hold. Everyone that was receiving longevity at that point in time continued to receive it, but no one joined the ranks. You didn't go up in time. You were just locked in at whatever you were getting the day of that vote. Fast forward to that, I was seated on the council, and one of the several of the department heads brought it to my attention that was something that was taken away. And they felt like it was something that was valuable. I believe it was 2000 or 2001, with the council's permission, I was able to find funding sources, and we brought longevity back. The longevity is broke down into 5-year service increments. At 5 years currently, and it is in the salary ordinance, at 5 years currently, an employee from 5 to 9 years of service gets an additional $500 per year. 10 to 14, an additional $1,000. The next 5 years, an additional $1,500. Capped at 20 years of service, an employee receives an additional $2,000 a year. In looking at ways to, and I don't know that this is going to be a good way to attract, but hopefully retain, and also to show new employees that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and while it's dim, it's not a train. It is the end of the employment here, and that would be a decent retirement. If you look at it as requested, you have my cheat sheet, my notes. If you look at that, in the first column is the current budget for each department for their longevity. If you look at the next column, and I'm on the top half of the page there, on the second column is the proposed. I did work a schedule that was 2 times, but it presented 3 times. It shows the increase in that budget, but if you look out to the right of that, it also shows another number. And what that number is at a $4,000 increase at 20 years of service. That is going to put the fixed costs, the liability portions for Social Security, for pensions, whether it's PERF or whether it's 1977 PERF, Medicaid, Medicare, at about 20% of each dollar. So 20 cents of each dollar of possible raise goes towards, or will have to be budgeted also. So that's what that last column is. That is the benefits that go along with that raise. Now, this will grow as employees stay with us, but it will decline as employees retire, leave employment here, or heaven forbid, pass away. If you look at that, to fund that is $170,200 annually. We have approximately $900,000 in our insurance fund. That does not include the monies that we have budgeted within our departments for next year. We still may see refunds from our claims payments if the claims exceed the deductible that we have set. We pay those. CoreSource calculates them. Anything over the deductibles is sent back to us in a refund. If you look down at the bottom, I will tell you, I have never presented anything to this council that couldn't be funded, and that I didn't have a clear and concise way to get to that point. If you look at the bottom of it, it does show current funding in a fund. Town Hall is different from all the others because Town Hall's insurance is funded solely through wastewater treatment. So that portion is currently the legal fund. I don't think we need legal counsel. So we're going to use, out of it, we're going to use $7,200 to fully fund that. The rest of them are the insurance funds within the departments. It shows what the fund is currently approved at in our budget. It shows the proposed reduction in that fund, and it shows or the proposed new funding and the decrease in those funds. If we do this at the end of the year, beginning of next year, we will have to do a resolution which transfers those funds by dollar amount out of that funding mechanism into the longevity fund. This does 3 things in my opinion. First thing it does is it says thank you to the people that have stayed with the town of Mooresville. The grass is always greener on the other side until you get there. We appreciate the people that have stayed. Second thing it does is it makes up for shortfalls that we've had in the past. Funding deficits and times when we had zero balance in our cash reserves. The third thing that it does is it builds the pension plans. The PERF pensions are based solely off of how much did you make. The 1977 police and fire pensions are based off a base patrolman's pay plus longevity. Firefighters, a base patrolman or a base firefighter plus longevity. So that is, in this case here, that would be another $6,000. The pensions, the way they're written, and Jeff, you may be able to help me a little bit better because there's been some tweaking of the numbers. At 20 years is 50%, and then as you go up to 32 years, it's in 2% increments.
I think it might be 52 now, I'm not sure.
Okay.
At 20.
Okay. But after you have 30 years maybe service, I think it goes in 2%
Maxing out
each
at
year.
74%.
74%.
It's 1% every 6 months.
Okay. So what we're looking at is this alone, in one approval, raises the pension for the police and fire $3,000 maximum at 32 years, or at the maximum 74%. Immediately does it for $2,000. Only took me just a few minutes to explain it. It took me about 3 days to get it all on paper. As soon as this went out, I received several phone calls from council members. I appreciate that. Tried to explain it to the best of my ability and promised that I would explain it tonight. It is broken down by department. You can see that some of our younger departments are not going to be as big a liability, but hopefully we'll recognize the fact that maybe we're doing a little bit to water the grass on our side of the fence. Are there questions from the council?
I don't have any questions.
Dane?
No, I think that obviously there's disagreement up here at times, and I think talking about those in public results in a better product. And I don't always give the council president credit, but I think he came up with a great compromise here for town employees that it's not quite the first plan as far as right now, but it's a great, I think it makes for a great future for the town. And I think it does all the things that he mentioned a minute ago. So I think it's a great compromise, and I appreciate the dollar deal that you gave, because I think that showed a really good faith effort on your part to give us choices, and I do appreciate that very much.
I'm about to go back. I don't have any questions, but I got comments.
Oh,
Shikey.
Yeah, no. Positive comments. I know you got a lot of hard work into this. I know. You laugh. No, I think you did a really good job on it. And I know sometimes you think the perception out there is that Tommy Worthen is not pro-law enforcement or pro-fire, and that's what a lot of this conversation has been about. That's not the case. He's always been pro-police, pro-fire, and I just think there's a difference in opinion on how we do our pay scale. He's always been across the board, has been since I've been part of the town, starting in '97. Tommy's put a lot of hard work and effort into this, and I appreciate that sincerely. I think it shows good faith effort to all employees that are going to walk away tonight if this is voted through with a substantial pay raise. Not just $2,500, but we're rewarding the long-term employee, and it's going to help us with retention. You know, and I think that's one of our big goals here, is because the turnover rate is pretty high. Always has been. There's always been a turnover rate, people leaving. And the departments they're leaving from is from our public safety. They're our most expensive employees we have. You know, we've got the most invested in them, equipment-wise, training-wise. And I think by doing this longevity, we'll hopefully reward those long-term employees and make them stay instead of leaving for elsewhere. You know, and I can speak from experience, so appreciate that.
Greg?
Well, I knew by wanting to table this that would really throw a challenge on you to come up with something. And
What I needed was
I
another
think
challenge.
you did. I know you spent a lot of hours on it. We've talked on it some, and I think it treats everybody fairly. One department can't exist without the other. So I think it looks pretty good.
Dustin?
Well, I mean, you and I talked, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning one day, and I said, I've been looking over your plan. You're going to have to Fisher Price it for me. My daughter's crayons aren't traversing to my laptop, so you did a great job explaining. Again, I think, you did a great job putting this together. You keep saying the budget fairy. I think right now you kind of are the budget fairy. I've always relied on you, and I think this is probably one of the best proposals that you put since at least I've been up here, and I truly think that's a compliment. You really put extra hard work, and If we're ready, let's
The
choose.
the question before us, we have actually three questions on this. We have, do we want to suspend the rules and pass pass an ordinance tonight? The next question is, do we want to pass the one that was as advertised, or do we want to pass the one with the increase and the longevity increase? So that is the three questions, and I will entertain motions.
I make a motion, we suspend the rules and pass the ordinance 9/2022 with the updated longevity and the $2,500 raise. Separate?
Do the suspend first.
Okay, motion to suspend the rules, pass on first reading.
We have a motion to suspend the rules and pass on first reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
I don't know if I'm gonna vote on it. Aye.
I
Jeff
will
Dustin?
throw you out the window.
Jeff Dustin, 5-0. Next is, which ordinance do we want to pass?
Make a motion, we pass ordinance 9/2022 with the updated longevity scale and the $2,500 across the board raise.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Dustin, 5-0. We have before us what do I want to say there? Unmarked up,
Clean copies.
clean copies. That, Chris, okay. That will be ordinance 9. Department head reports. Not everybody at once, take your time.
Just a few things real quick. I want to take a minute and thank you guys for coming to a hard decision. It's not what we asked for my guys, but again, hopefully it does retain this younger generation, I hope, that they can see the future a little bit. Don't be surprised I come back to this board next year and ask for the town to pick up the pension again. Hopefully by then we can kind of maybe figure out some better ways of doing it. Also, real quick, I can't even remember when it was, we approved, or this council approved, our policies. I want to ask you guys as our safety board for the fire department, how would you like to have that? We've looked over our policies again. We did a little bit of minor changes in wording, like their designee or he and she designee, this and that. Do you want to see the corrections or do you want to see just the final draft? And it's all ready for you guys, so you have time to look at it for January 1 as the attorney has guided us.
Has your department as a whole gone over the last shift captains? with
So
the
what has
department
happened
meeting?
is that there was, as the policies came out the first round, there was some rumbling of some policies.
So is there a committee, or how do
So
you
I
guys do
put a
it?
committee together of a firefighter, a captain, and a lieutenant. They went over the policies, they came back to the administration and made the recommendations. Some recommendations got changed, some did not. But a lot of it was more of just the wordage of what we missed, like BTFD or PTFD to MFD or Mooresville or Decatur, just some of the language. Because like I said, we went through 5 or 6 different policies with guidance from legal counsel after they looked over it also. Nothing major was changed, it was just more wordage or changing it to where, I'll use this one as an example, couldn't carry a 4-inch knife blade. There was some rumbling on that. People said, well, we got to throw out the kitchen knives. No, come on. We just don't want you carrying a butcher knife on your hip while you're taking care of a patient. So we changed some wordage like that, like a folding knife. So instead of a blade. So it's just more of what do you guys want from us? Do you want to see the whole changes or do you want to see just the final draft?
Joel, have you looked, are you the one that's helped with this, or was it Beth?
It was Beth.
Beth has
prior.
been the one working on it.
Okay. How hard is it to show the changes, to highlight those? Is it
It's
a lot of
not.
work?
I can show you both the changes. They'll be in red, and blue. It's more or less just changes of what was red,
If
what
it's-
it was, and then it was blue, what we changed it to.
If it's not hard, I think it would be,
Yep, I can do
is
that.
that's my opinion. I don't know about the rest, but. And
If it's not hard to do,
Yeah.
we look at it, we still need to stay in our lane, let you guys run your departments and go from there. But it is nice to know when, if there's a grievance filed, they're gonna be the ones that hear it. So we need to be on board with what you're doing.
Correct.
as long as the final draft has been reviewed by the attorney, which it sounds like it has, so.
Yeah, it has. I think we
Okay.
went over it. Jewel, you correct me if I'm wrong. July, June, somewhere around there, I believe.
But you've done edits since then.
We've done edits since then.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're going to send that back to legal and then send it to us with the changes?
I can, or I can send it to you guys. There was no big major changes in law or state statute or anything like that. It was just more of wordage.
Well, we each charge $0 per hour to look at it, times 5. I would say just send it to us, let us look at it, and we'll let the $350 an hour people look at it. Is that acceptable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Chief,
Yes.
you mentioned to me about the Jaws of Life today. Would you mind just giving a real quick update on that? What you told me today?
So I know you guys talked about the capital improvement stuff for 2023. I came to you maybe 2 meetings ago or whatever it was to see if we wanted to try to move forward. I did talk to the sales rep. They have been ordered, but again, with the product and trying to get things distributed out, it looks like we could have our Jaws of Life or extrication tools that we've ordered for that $80,000 roughly probably the week 1st of December. So which would answer your question, yes, we would get a bill 30 days after to take care of it for 2023.
But I think we funded through CCD, we funded 80,000. So we probably need to, when you get that bill in, probably need to see if you have a fund that you can encumber the other $3,000.
Yeah. So, but yes, it should be here sometime, or otherwise we would have been waiting if we had to order it come January 1. It'd been a little bit longer. So, but yes, it is on its way. It's sitting in a shipping container at this point in time.
Good.
Anything else? Thank
Nope,
you.
thanks a lot.
I'd like to let Matt get up here first every once in a while. I don't have a whole lot. We are looking forward to possibly, as long as the police commission approves it, to swear in our first officer on Friday. Ryan Russell, he came from IMPD. He worked with Councilman Cook for a while. We got our body cameras in, and we're hoping the target date to go up and running on those is the 20th of December. So I had to write a SOP, which I will be presenting to the commission on Friday for approval, and so we can move forward with that. We're gearing up for the Victorian Christmas. I've already spoken with Dave Moore. We're going to have a hard shutdown on the streets, so we don't have anybody to drive through. So other than that, I really don't have anything else. Unless you guys have anything for me.
Did you hear anything on the grants on the cameras?
Oh, the grant's still good to go. I just have to, all this has to be done, and I have to submit it to the Fed so they can give me a check. And I do appreciate the work you did on the salary. I didn't want to minimize that. You guys are pretty happy about the longevity, except for those guys under 5 years, but that will give them some, something to work towards, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, I want to let you know I appreciate you helping counsel your guys with financial help and stuff like that.
Yeah, we have that going.
Yeah,
That'll be coming
yeah.
up pretty soon.
If I'd have took those classes 30 years ago instead of
took
10
mine,
years ago, I'd have been in a lot better shape.
I took mine on the 29th year, and I told my wife I wish I'd had it my first year. I'd had a lot more money in the bank than I have. So
It's very important. I
It
know
is.
when you're young, you don't think about it, but it's real important.
yeah, the hardest thing is keeping them off credit cards and things
I
like
went to
that.
Dave Ramsey class, and that was the best thing I ever did.
That's one of the financial coaches that teaches.
Yeah.
He's one of our SWAT guys up there, so that'll be coming up pretty soon. And along with, we did get scheduled for a couple of CIT trainings for next year. They're full this year, so we're moving along. And I just got an email the other day that one of the kennels wants to donate a dog. I've had a citizen who wanted to donate a couple of dogs, so I'm trying to get somebody to come up to test them to make sure they're going to be good for what we're looking at. So, all right, thanks.
you.
Huh?
So I have a couple of real quick things. Our experiment with the torch down south is turning out to be successful. It's made it through some severe weather and still lighting up. There's a lot of different patterns and things we can do with it, so it'll be kind of fun to play with that. Leaf season's wrapping up. We've got a couple more weeks on that. Our trucks are ready, our barn's full of salt and sand, and I think we're ready to go for the winter time. And in a world where a bag of groceries is $75, what you guys have done tonight is significant. And on behalf of the people that I work with and myself, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Anything?
After the Carlisle Bridge thing, and since we don't have any help from the county anymore, do we have anybody looking at the bridges in town?
So I've done some inspections. We have one that is in dire need of repair on Washington Street.
I just wondered if we had any regular inspections to look them over to see if head off any problems.
Yeah, I've never done regular inspections, but learning what I've learned over the past few months, I went and looked at them, and yeah, we have one that we're going to have to look at.
Have you reached out to the county to tell them, we need you up here to look at this one?
I have not, but I will.
Who is the bridge on Bridge Street, the big bridge? Is that like a state? Because that has to be engineer inspection.
Right, it's a town road.
I didn't know since it was a navigable water, whether it was a state inspection or how that works.
You know, that's a great question. I never thought about that.
I just,
Try to dig into that and find out who, because I'm a qualified inspector, I'm not. I can look at it and say, but yeah, probably need to look
Good
at that a
to
little
know.
closer.
yeah, okay.
That's a great question. Appreciate that.
Have you said that you, oh, were you done?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You said that you ordered, I talked to you earlier today, the more materials for the remaining signs, and I've seen them down at the south gateway, or the north gateway, sorry, already have removed the old lights. And you mentioned that the cost is more in the, do you not want to say?
Well, it's so I think we're $2,500 into this one.
Yep.
Our new order,
10 grand?
I think it was really close to 10,000.
Yeah.
We've burned up some drills, drilling into the concrete. We had to grab some tools,
Yeah.
zip ties. So it's going to be a little more than 10,000, but
Not much.
not less than 120.
Yeah, I saw a charge for $2,300 or so for the lights, the light system. So I think he told me he didn't want to be named in public because he was worried about it. But I think your employee that came up with this, he saved from the estimate that we had on the lighting of $122,000 down to $12,000. He saved taxpayers, assuming that the good things hold here and that they work, over $100,000. And I think maybe we ought to start looking at maybe doing an employee of the year thing with a small, maybe $5,000 award for ideas like that, because he saved a lot of money for us.
He put a lot of time and effort. He did a lot of work at home studying these systems, and he was about as passionate about it as you are. So
Yeah.
he worked really hard, and he's done a great job. So I appreciate you recognizing that.
Yeah, I don't want to say his name right now because he told me not to, but I think he should get public recognition when it's over, assuming that it holds, because he figured it out and nobody else did. including us. So
He could go from a hero to a zero real quick.
he could, but hey, these have worked longer than they did in the past, so I'm really proud of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks.
Dave said he was going to be quick, but I'll be faster. I only have 3 short things to report. An update on the Old Town Park restrooms. The last I heard is we potentially are looking at a late winter delivery, which is a lot faster than we had planned, which is great. But we want to, before it happens, thank the street department is going to demolish the current restrooms once we have electric and everything. So as a small department, we really appreciate everything. Everybody working together, that's going to be a huge relief off of our plate. There is a park board work session November 30th at 1 p.m. We're looking at kind of carving out what the direction of the department will be, some goals. We're doing a SWOT analysis, so just wanted to make sure we got that word out as much as we could. And the Lions Club came to our park board meeting last night. We've met with the department heads, talking about town events, and just wanted to let everyone know that Old Settlers for 2023 is going to change just a little bit. That it will be a Thursday through Sunday. So it'll be Thursday, August 3rd through Sunday, August 6th. So we're working on the details on what implications that has for the town. The parade will still be at the same time. That's been confirmed, but I just wanted to let people know. I think that will be a big benefit of changing that from a Thursday to Sunday instead of Sunday through Tuesday. So.
Will school be in session then?
That is the first day of school. Thursday is the first day of school. Okay.
Department heads. Let me speak on your behalf. I've asked legal counsel to take another stab at looking at the proposal that we had from Train as far as HVAC. We need to come up with a plan, and I'd like for it to be town-wide. I know that we've looked at, Park has had some problems, HVAC. We've put them off, kicked them kick that away. But if they can look at every HVAC unit that we have, up to and including the police department, even though it's just a couple years old, let's just make sure that we're on the right page. I've asked Jewel to look at that. There was some concern there. The way Train does it is they bid all the equipment at one time, kind of like a QPA or Sourcewell, something like that, and then they would bid the labor to us. Or the outsourcing the labor. We're going to have Jewel take a look at that. The other thing that I've asked him about is our census from 2010 to 2020 showed that the town of Mooresville officially grew, and I'm not saying that I agree with it, but we're going to go with that, to 9,411 people. That is up 85 people is all that's up. Mixed emotion. I think we can all say that there may be more than that, but on our community crossings matching grant, we're always going to write 9411. That said, part of the requirements are within 2 years after a census year, we are supposed to either A, redistrict, or B, say that by resolution, because we did not see a substantial increase, and in this case less than 1%, our districts are fine and well as they have been. This got missed in 2012, and we just did this in 2017, 2018. We redrew those. Jeff, you and I would have been in the same ward prior to that, but they drew that line there. There had been a substantial increase from the 2020 to the 2010, I think about 3,000 people at that time. So this here is, I would like for legal counsel to draw up some type of resolution on whether we need to redraw the districts. I think the last time we did it, Beacon, not Beacon, Elevate, did it. Beacon has since bought them and they no longer do it. We were offered to partner with the county, but I think at that time they were talking thousands of dollars for our share. In this case here, 85 people. I don't think we could pound 85 people into any one district and say that it changed it enough. So I guess I would need council's permission to have him proceed with a resolution. Nope. Okay.
Yeah, I think with no more than that is, and with the recent, one done officially, with the help of the GIS services, but I think it is proper to do the resolution, so, I would agree with you that it's sort of an immaterial amount of people as compared to the entire town, and save taxpayers thousands of dollars, but also do it the right way.
Okay. Is that,
Follow the law, I guess.
is that in the form of a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Shane Dustin, 5-0. Legal counsel, if you could please draw us a resolution that states that we feel like our districts are still fair and equal. Now, do you have anything? Motion for approval of payment of claims. Oh, well, no.
Public
Nope.
comments.
Public comments. Is there anyone from the public that wants to speak on behalf of the good of the town? Or the bad of the town? Or tell a small joke, quick joke? Motion for approval of payment of claims.
Motion to approve $1,677,956.72.
Holy crap, what'd you spend all that? For the public, $1.6 million, $1.2 million of that was a transfer of funds from our general fund into our rainy day fund. So I don't want it to look like we're spending all of the money at the end of the year. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second. Sorry.
That's okay, give it to Dustin.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Greg Dustin, 5-0. You okay down there?
I'm hanging in there.
Who do you want to come up and give you mouth to mouth? The fire department or the police department?
Oh, I'm good, just leave me be.
DNR.
Town council comments.
Yeah, I do have some. Just appreciate your hard work on it. I know there's a lot. Maybe you think sometimes that airing our dirty laundry is not good, and we take it personal. It's nothing personal up here. I have against anybody. But I think by getting everything out on the table, we came up with a great resolution to our problem with the salary ordinance. So I appreciate your hard work on it, Tommy.
Thank you. Shane?
Yeah, I'd echo that as well. The only thing that I have is that this Thursday, November 17th, from 5 to 7, there's an open house for the comprehensive plan, and it's at the Mooresville Public Library Community Room A and B. So this is your chance to learn about what's going on with your town and the comp plan. It's also your chance to review the preliminary vision and goals and to share your thoughts with us. And you can attend that anytime during that 5 to 7 time frame. It's an open house style, so you can come and go as you please. So if you want more information about what's going on with the comp plan, you can go to www.planmooresville.com. That's all. Thanks.
Greg?
Yeah, I just want to appreciate what you did in getting that all taken care of. Appreciate everybody that had the confidence in me to put me back up here for 4 years. Try to do the best I can.
Again, everybody's spoken about your work, and thank you for that. One other thing is, a while ago, I was selected to the Indiana Leadership Forum. Happy to do that until COVID hit. Didn't get to go to DC and see the then Trump administration, but did have the opportunity to meet with several representatives, and one of them asked, if I was in his shoes for the day, what would I do? And I joked and I said, well, I'd probably vote against this and this, but you didn't, so I'll be quiet. And I did say I want something for the town of Mooresville. So in 2019, and I'm not going to say the county stole my idea when I told them about this, but I've held on to these flags that were flown over the U.S. Capitol in D.C., one for the police department, one for the fire department, and the one for all the other departments held in the government center. So I've finally dug them out, put them up here. Each department can display them or do whatever they want with them. Comes with a certificate from Representative Beard saying that, Mooresville was honored at the U.S. Capitol. So I got my wish for the day. I may have blown it on flags, but I just wanted to get those to everybody tonight. Felt rather fitting in Chief Dalton's case that I held on to him until tonight. That's it.
Gentlemen, I appreciate your comments, but I did nothing for the town tonight. The town did it for the town. I always say I never take credit for anything. That way I never have to take blame for anything. But I will say that, again, still the greatest town in America. It's still the greatest town in the world to live in, work in, and be a part of. And I certainly appreciate it. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, December 6th. You guys want to have it here? Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Shane Brigg, 5-0.
Okay. What's that? All right.
Has it been COVID or RSV or what?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, did they work? Could you hear, can you hear through? Right.